Welcome back to another fantastic art lesson at TotalDrawing.com. Today we're going to make this drawing of an orange using colored pencils. You will need a yellow orange, a red orange, green, dark green, and blue. Let's begin with a pencil drawing of our orange and two leaves. I like to draw organic shapes with straighter lines. It helps me to better analyze the contours. Because we're drawing fruit and each piece of fruit is different, we don't need to be too critical of ourselves. We only need to make a drawing that's close to our example. What's most important are going to be the colors that we use and the layering of color that we use. I'm going to go ahead and begin this drawing by throwing in some general base colors. I'll use yellow in the leaves and yellow-orange as my base color for the orange itself. I'm actually not using an orange pencil, but instead we'll create this orange with yellow-orange and red-orange. Of course, between those two colors is orange on the color wheel. Alright, switching to the red-orange pencil, I'll start to find some of my shadows on top of the yellow-orange base layer. You can see a lot of white speckles showing through the application of colored pencil at this point. As we continue to build up layers, we'll eventually increase our pressure and smooth out our colored pencil application so that we can't see the white of the paper showing through anymore. Using my green pencil, I'll start to find the really dark shadow on the bottom left of our orange. This shadow is partly created by the leaf on the left and also reflects the color of the leaf into the shadow. I've switched to the blue pencil to continue to darken the shadows on the orange itself. If I only use the red-orange pencil for the shadows on the orange, those shadows may be too bright. So the blue, being the opposite color from orange on the color wheel, helps to tone down the intensity of color on the orange's shadows. A great way to dull a color is to use its complement or its opposite. Again, blue being the opposite of orange. So I'll build layers back and forth with the blue pencil and with the red-orange pencil until the orange starts to appear to have more of a form, more of a sense of three-dimensionality. Now, increasing my pressure to a moderate level, I'm using the yellow-orange pencil and pretty much just coloring over the entire orange. This pencil is very light and it won't cover up or get rid of the shadows. It'll actually strengthen and smooth out those shadows, helping the blue and the red-orange colors to better incorporate into the surface of the orange's peeling. I'm probably on the fourth layer now. Using the red-orange pencil, I'm just looking for the parts of the orange that look truly orange. Mixing that color with the yellow-orange until I feel like I've achieved the right color and value. You may notice in the bottom right edge of the orange, the color of the peeling is actually yellow-orange. So I'll avoid putting any red or blue pencil in that area, that being my lightest color in the orange itself. I'm using the dark green pencil over the darkest shadow on the orange to dull it out more than to darken it. It's already very dark, and this dark green pencil is extremely dull. I don't want that shadow to be very bright at all. Alright, with even more pressure, I'll use the yellow-orange to finish smoothing out the surface of the orange. You'll see all of the white speckles now disappear, and the orange will have a solid, rich look to the color. This is how color pencils are meant to be seen and meant to be applied. Very light application with white speckles of the paper showing through doesn't give our artwork a finished, solid look. Instead of using colored pencils like a pencil, where we simply press down harder for dark colors and lighten our pressure for light colors or values, we're really supposed to layer these colors until they all look solid. Of course, if you have a very light pale color, of which in this example we don't have, you could use a white pencil over a light application of color so that it too looks solid and rich. Okay, these leaves are pretty much made with the green pencils, but I am using the red pencil some in order to dull down the colors of these leaves. They don't need to be bright everywhere. And the red pencil is the complement or opposite of green on the color wheel, and so it's the right choice for lowering the intensity of green. The top leaf has a fold in it, and I'll use more colors in the top leaf. I've used light green, yellow, dark green, and also again some red in the shadows so that the shadows aren't too vibrant. The orange and the leaves are looking pretty good now. Pretty solid. Even after you've increased your pressure and smoothed out or covered up all of the small white speckles in your artwork, you can still adjust your layers and adjust your color with an eraser. Some people won't use erasers with colored pencils because they believe that colored pencils don't erase, but they do lighten, and that's a great way to adjust your color. Nothing's going to make this orange stand out more than a blue background. So using a bright blue, a cobalt blue, I'll go ahead and shade all around my orange. I can also use the background color to sharpen the contours of my orange, where sometimes they become a little soft or fuzzy due to the nature of colored pencils. I think I'm going to create a gradation in the top left corner. So I will fade out my blue pencil in the top left corner and then work back into that with a darker blue. It's a very dark, dull color mixing into the bright blue. I'll fade my pressure away with this darker color over the brighter blue to create a relatively smooth gradation. And now that the background is dark, the dark shadows in my orange don't look as dark. Value is a relative thing. Now for the details. We always have to save our details for last, and I'll discover some of the small, fine black dots on the surface of my orange using an ink pen, a Sakura drawing pen. Using white tempera paint or washable poster paint, I'll seek to discover the variable highlights on this orange surface that help to describe its reflectivity. These marks always feel wrong at first. They always feel too strong, and too bold. They stand out too much in the beginning. Stick with it. As you start to work up the highlights all across the orange, these bold marks will make more sense. Alright, now I've got some of these tiny little highlights all across the surface of my orange, and they are beginning to feel more like they belong there. These little highlights would be difficult to do in the colored pencil. The tempera paint dries with a matte finish and incorporates well with the medium colored pencil. Just a few dark marks with my red orange, particularly close to the highlights, and that'll complete the surface of our bright orange on a blue background. Let's get a close look at these marks. The paint marks appear to just float on top of the surface, but as we move away from our artwork, as we see it more from a distance, they seem to work. I hope you've enjoyed following along and drawing an orange with me here at TotalDrawing.com.